If you have played PUBG for more than 10 minutes, I'm sure you've realized that shotguns are complete ass. If you're a fucking idiot, like me, you probably still pick them up and try to use them, only to be let down time and time and time again. But why? Why do shotguns, which at least in theory are the strongest weapons in the game, perform so poorly in practice? Why is it that you almost never see anyone in the top 10 carry a shotgun on their back? Are shotguns just bad? Or is the average player just not using them correctly? Well, I decided to do some digging, and I'm pretty confident that this video is going to be the most comprehensive guide of what's good and bad about shotguns, and if by any chance you do decide to use them, how to do so. Let's get into it. Many people look at the shotgun crosshairs and they get the wrong idea of how they work. They think that if the crosshair is big, then the spread of the shot will be big too. And if we hold our aim and we crouch and the crosshair gets smaller, that the pellet spread will also get smaller. But this is wrong. The spread of the bullet is determined by things like the distance, whether or not you have a choke, and how good of a day Brandon Green is having right now, but not the crosshair size. If you don't believe me, just look at this footage of me jumping around like a ballerina. While the center of the pellet spread is less accurate and it goes all over the place, you can see that the spread itself is pretty much the same. So let's try to visualize this. If you have a big crosshair, the center of your shot can go pretty much anywhere. If you tighten it a little bit, the area where it can go is reduced, but it's still a little random. And if you aim down your sights, then you know for certain where the center of the spread will be. And please note that I said center of the spread, because the spread itself is random and will always be no matter what, so there's just no way to predict that. Another thing that many people overlook is the fact that shotguns are zeroed in at 50 meters. If you aim at an object that is 50 meters away, you will see that the tip of your weapon and the center of your crosshair line up perfectly. But if we try to do the same thing with an object that is closer, we see that there's a slight misalignment. And what this means in practice is that your crosshair reticle is lying to you. In this very clear example, you can see that the crosshair is taking up a good chunk of this player's head. And yet when I shoot, all of my pellets miss. Only when we aim down our sights can we actually see where our pellets are going and why all of our shots are missing. The closer you are to your target, the more your pellets will gravitate towards the right side of the crosshairs. And this seems to be noticeable even at fairly long distances, so be on the lookout for it. Funnily enough, if you play on third person, the reverse is true, and the pellets go a little bit more to the left. But at least in third person, you can usually tell whether or not your shot is gonna hit. So yeah, if you only play in first or third person, try to keep these findings in mind. If you actually take the time to test shotguns in a controlled environment, you might be inclined to believe that they're actually pretty good. Shooting at targets with no armor from a pretty far distance, we can see that I'm doing pretty consistent damage, almost enough to kill them in one hit, and always enough to kill them in 2 hits. You put a level 1 vest on them, and sure, I'm doing a little bit less damage, but it's still enough to kill them in 2 hits. And if we put a choke to our shotgun, the spread is so tight that it's enough to kill a player in 1 shot at this distance, with a vest or without. But this kind of testing is useless. In action, shotguns are nowhere near consistent. So why is it? What makes shotguns so bad in this game, even when you use them at close range? In my opinion, it's a combination of these 3 factors. The cover is the easiest one to explain and to understand. There are many weapons that work great, even if you only see a small part of your enemy's body, but shotguns aren't one of them. Unless you can land a very lucky headshot, you're gonna be at a very big disadvantage if you can't see the whole body of your enemy. Pushing in the open towards someone who's behind cover is usually a bad idea with any weapon, but especially so with shotguns, so don't do it. The hitboxes and their different multipliers are also a big thing to keep in mind. The AWM, for instance, can kill a player with no vest in 1 hit, but if you hit their hands, if you somehow manage to do that, then suddenly they can take up to 3 shots before they go down. Arms and legs take very little damage compared to the rest of the body, so you want to avoid hitting them as much as possible, and focus on the chest, and if possible on the head. In this example, I keep shooting this guy thinking that he will die with the next shot, but he keeps jumping, making me hit his legs instead. It takes 4 shots to actually kill him, which is insane, and really goes to show that you should aim at the chest. And finally, we need to talk about the delay. Aim down your sights, shoot, and the bullet comes out instantly. Now stop aiming down your sights, shoot, and you'll see that the bullet actually takes a split second to come out. This happens with all weapons, and the lower your FPS is, the worse it is. Is it a glitch, a feature? Nobody knows. But what I do know is that this can destroy your accuracy with shotguns. Let's watch an example. So here I'm waiting for this guy that I know is on the other side of this door. He's gonna go through it any minute now. And now, just now, is when I tried to shoot to actually hit him. This would have probably killed him. But thanks to the hip fire delay, the shot didn't come out until a split second later, where he moved a little bit to the left. One way of working around this is to aim down your sights at the last second if you know where your enemy is gonna come from. Another riskier method is to lead your shots as if you were fighting someone really far away. And this basically means that you will shoot a little bit before you normally would, so that the shot actually hits where you intend. And remember that this will only affect the first shot, all the ones after that will work normally. As everybody knows, there's a weapon for each kind of situation. Sniper rifles are good from afar, SMGs are good for close-up, assault rifles, well, they're good at everything really. And then there's shotguns, which are only good from close-up and if you're really accurate. But there's also certain situations where shotguns can be pretty handy, and I'm gonna show you a few of them. For instance, shotguns are really good at destroying breakable objects, like wooden shacks, doors, or fences like this. Just make sure you're not shooting through the gaps, otherwise it won't be as effective. Say I barely touched you, didn't I? Oh, what the? Taylah?
What?
Oh, keep walking slowly. Slowly? Oh, okay, a little bit back.
Oh my, what happened? What is this? What is this?
What the fuck? You're a sand monster.
I'm the Sandman.
Late into the game, people drop their shotguns because most of the fights will happen at medium or long ranges. But if you decide to keep your shotgun, you should know that there are some ways to force your enemies into close range fights. Like crashing a vehicle into them, and then pulling your shotgun out to kill them. This is one of my favorite tactics and it works every single time. 50% of the time. But anyway, if you see a good opportunity to do this while you're driving, but you don't have the shotgun equipped, one thing you can do is quickly open your inventory and switch your primary weapons, and this will change your equipped weapon to the shotgun. Just remember to set up some keybinds so that you can switch seats fast and get out of the side of the car that's safe. Also, if you're a dickhead, you can use a shotgun to quickly pop the tires of a vehicle if you're switching out for another. I do this all the time, just don't ask me why. Some other tricks: you can interrupt the reload on the pump shotgun by pressing the leaning buttons Q and E. And this seems to work even if you rewind your leaning keys, which is really weird. But yeah, just press Q and E to stop the reload, and after that you won't have to pump it a second time. Also, if you drop the pump shotgun while it's reloading and switch to another weapon, you can see this dumb animation. Even your squad mates can see it, and it's pretty funny. Yep. More interestingly though, there's a somewhat useful trick that you can do with the sawed-off and the double barrel shotguns. Basically, you want to load a single bullet into the weapon, reload it, and by the end of the animation, spam the left click, and you'll actually shoot 3 times. This isn't like a massively overpowered glitch, but you can do some fun mind games where your enemy thinks that you're out of bullets while you still have one more, and so on. Next time you find one of these 2 weapons, you can give it a shot. And one last tip for shotguns: always remember to pick up pistols if you can. They can be very handy to weaken enemies or to finish them off.
Come on, that's not fair. I didn't have a gun.
So now that you know the general characteristics of all the shotguns, it's time to look into the specifics and what sets each of them apart. The double barrel and the pump action you should think of as pretty much the same gun. From what I've tested, their stats are basically the same, and the only thing that really sets them apart is how they actually shoot. Both shotguns are very strong, and if you hit all the pellets, it's pretty much a guaranteed one shot, no matter what they were wearing or where you hit them. But again, hitting all the pellets is much easier said than done. With the pump action, you ideally want to take shots and get to cover between each pump, so that you minimize the chances your enemy has to shoot at you. With the double barrel, you want to be ready to unload the 2 shots and then get to cover. Because if you don't finish off your opponent, you'll probably die before you can reload again. So never take a shot for granted. By contrast, the S12K and the sawed-off are weaker, and will struggle to kill players in armor with a single shot. The sawed-off is a secondary weapon though, so you can't really expect much from it. It's got the worst spread of all shotguns and the worst damage, so you just need to get up close and hope for the best. Or you can just use it as a secondary weapon, in which case it's kinda decent. The S12K can take a choke, so its range will always be limited, but it's a pretty mean weapon if you can handle the recoil. If you find an AR compensator, definitely to put it on the S12K. It doesn't turn it into a laser gun or anything, but it does help a bit. As I'm sure you know, all shotguns can kill from surprisingly long distances, but then again, most of the time they will not. Here's a little quick reference for the approximate max range to get a one-shot kill with each shotgun. Obviously, it all depends on your shot and their armor, but any further than this and you will probably need a second or third shot to finish them off. If you need to take a closer look, just feel free to pause the video right now. Now, in the test servers of PUBG, limb penetration is currently being tested, so shotguns might suddenly become a lot more powerful if this is implemented. If you've never really considered using shotguns, now might be the time to start getting good with them. But whether you decide to actually use them or to ignore them, now you know what makes them good and what makes them bad, so good luck out there, and thank you for watching. How many times have you had a teammate tell you to shut up because they think there's a car coming, only for you guys to realize that it's just the sound of the plane? This might seem like an unimportant anecdote, but it proves one thing. The first step to getting an airdrop is hearing the plane. And if there's a plane flying over me, I don't want to miss it, so I always play with my headphones and with both my system volume and my in-game volume at max. And trust me, if you want to be a PUBG professional, you're gonna have to do the same. When you've actually seen the drop, you want to put your weapon away, start running, and have a look at the map so you know where you're going. At about this point, you should see the red zone appear right on top of you. Finally, you will arrive to the place where you thought the package landed, only to find out that it's nowhere in sight. And don't worry, this is completely normal, you just have to spend a few more minutes looking for it. If you get another red zone on top of you, you can always go inside a building if you want to be safe, but you don't really have to. Remember, no one ever dies to the red zone. No one.
Oh shit, oh fuck, oh sorry, didn't realize you sucked.
And after all of that, it looks like we're finally ready to get out there and get our air.